Welcome to my presentation of Marxist literary criticism for concepts, history, and examples of criticism. By introducing Marxist literary criticism, what is Marxist criticism? It is an approach of criticism used to examine the literature in challenging socioeconomic systems, particularly in capitalism, by emphasizing on the literature in dealing with societal issues such as exploitation, power, class, and wealth. Common questions that we often ask while reading the text: who is maintaining the power and who is powerless, as well as how does the literature highlight the wealth and class stratifications? Now let's take a look at four main concepts used in Marxist criticism. The first one, conflict between classes. By analyzing the conflict and tensions between the ruling class and the oppressed, which is often portrayed in the literature. Second, the oppressed alienated from labor. The ruling class owns the product of the labor made from the workers. This creates a sense of dehumanization due to the workers not owning what they are producing with their labor. Third, ideological control, a passive form of control used to shape the beliefs and values of the working class in order for the ruling class to maintain their power. And lastly, base and superstructure. The base is the means and production which are shaped by the superstructure as well as shaping it. This superstructure are the social institutions such as educational systems, the law, moral systems, and ideologies shaping and being shaped by the base itself. Now let's take a look at the history of Marxist criticism and where it comes from, the origins. The Marxist criticism is derived from the works of Karl Marx in the 19th century, although his ideas were not fully utilized until the 20th century. Karl Marx critiqued heavily on how capitalism impacts human relationships between the upper class owners and the middle or lower class workers. During the 20th century, three key figures helped develop the Marxist criticism. First, George Lukács, by analyzing the realities involved historically and socially in literature. Second, Louis Althusser, using ideology to control subconsciously in order to maintain ruling over the working class. And lastly, Terry Eagleton, highlighting how class struggle is shaped and shapes literature through the Marxist criticism. Now, by applying Marxist criticism in the text, we are going to look at the analysis of Marxist criticism in the literature. Conflict theory is seen between classes where the ruling class and working class often clash. The characters in the story depict the social hierarchies and challenges faced due to the class stratifications. There are common themes seen in literature, such as the gap in wealth between the ruling class and working class, the working class exploited by the ruling class, and the working class viewed and valued for their economical worth versus intrinsic value. Process of applying the Marxist criticism. There are four ideas that we can use as a flow. We start by asking the question and answering what socioeconomic structures are at play in the literature. Then, which characters in the story belong in which class hierarchies, such as ruling class versus working class. Third, we identify the societal norms used in the story. Then lastly, identify the ideologies used by the ruling class to shape the values and beliefs of the working class. Do these ideologies work to maintain the power for the ruling class is a question that you want to answer. Now, using Marxist criticism for the Battle Royale story written by Ralph Ellison. First, race and class. Ralph Ellison is part of the marginalized group that is under the control of exploitation by the ruling class of the white people. The power structures in place are the rich white people use the scholarship and money rewards as a way to maintain control of the marginalized group in the story. Alienation of the main character. Now, the main character is unable to fit into the educational system and therefore creating a disconnection of belonging. There are scenarios in the story that use Marxist criticism. First, the marginalized group given incentives such as money rewards to fight using blindfolds. The injustices of the system is being symbolized by the blindfolds as a way to blind the marginalized group to the oppression that is occurring. Second, using money as a bait to hurt the black men on the electrified rug to entertain the rich white people. This is a way to exploit through economical means, which is very dehumanizing. Then lastly, the main character's speech is being insulted and mocked by the ruling class as the main character tries to give the speech in the humiliating setting that he is in. He tries to get through the speech to make sure it is articulate and educational, which are values and beliefs shaped by the educational system governed by the ruling class. Now, a summary of the Marxist criticism through Battle Royale. The story of Battle Royale by Ralph Ellison illustrates the use of Marxist criticism that reveals how race and class are subjected to the systematic inequalities. The intersection of both racial and economical exploitation occurs throughout the story.